What's up, YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming at you guys today with the HP, with pretty much one of my favorite side types of decks. This is Kozmo. Um, Ironically enough, Kozmo, um, for most people, is kind of a little dry at the moment. Most people probably switching Cosmo with either Fire King Cosmo or True King Cosmo. And for me, I wanted to do a variation of Cosmo because, like, I never really got a full chance to finish Cosmo the way I wanted to finish Cosmo. So there will probably be like updated versions of Cosmo because it's Cosmo and I like Cosmo. Um, Unfortunately, only get the last two monsters that I need. Hopefully, I can find them. And that's Dark Lady and Tin Can. So the only other card I probably use would be a Lord of Darkness, but that's like a hero there type of situation card. So, I want to have fun with this. I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get through the deck profile. So, how I'm going to do this is like how I do everything else. I'm just going to go through the deck itself, and then I'm going to explain the choices and stuff at the end. So, for my monsters, I'm running 3 copies of Cosmo Farm Girl. Following Farm Girl, I'm running 3 copies of Sword Trooper. Then I'm running 3 copies of The Wicked Witch, 2 copies of Strawman, and 1 copy of Good Witch. Now that's the low level Cosmo monsters. Onto the big guys, I'm running 3 copies of Cosmo Forerunner, 3 copies of Cosmo Slip Rider, and 1 copy of Dark Destroyer. For our supporting cast, I'm running 3 copies of Cyber Dragon, 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier Envoy of the Beginning, and 1 copy of Chaos Sorcerer. So that is it for the monsters. For the spells, I'm running 3 copies of Cosmo Town, 2 copies of Terraforming, 2 copies of Scapegoat, 2 copies of Sacred Sword of 7 Stars, 2 copies of Gold Sarcophagus, 1 copy of Terraforming, 1 copy of Regeki, 1 copy of Darkhold, 1 copy of Monarch Storm Force, and 1 copy of Monster Reborn. And that is it for the deck. No trap cards because I don't have Cosmo. I don't have Cosmo Joe. I was gonna use the continuous trap card, but then I didn't do it. I don't like it. So yeah, a lot of things you start taking out when you start reading it's like situational type of stuff. So I didn't run them, unfortunately. For my extra deck, I'm running 2 copies of Malice Radiant, 2 copies of Link Spider, a copy of Pico Talker, Trigate Wizard, and Gaia Saber. Then for the rest of the extra deck, I'm running 1 copy of Flavia the Sea Dragon, 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, 1 copy of Castell, 1 copy of Cowboy, 1 copy of Red Eyes Flare Metal, 1 copy of Guska, Terribly Tiger Tape Eater, 1 copy of Galaxy Tomahawk, and 1 copy of Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. Tokens are included for Scapegoat. Alright, so with all that done, let's go over the deck itself. So, Kozmo is a combination of psychics and machines. They have a ton of variety within themselves to pretty much do one particular thing. And that is stated on the monsters themselves. So you have what's called a pilot, or some people refer to as the pilot, and the ship. So, in variation, the low-level Cosmo monsters that ranges from levels 1 to 5 have the ability to banish themselves to such a monster from your hand, a Cosmo monster from your hand whose level is one higher than yours or more. And primarily, in a lot of cases, if you can stack on enough Cosmo monsters, you probably go into your ships. And your ships have the ability to not be targeted by your opponent's card effects, which is amazing. And then the other part is when they're destroyed by battle or card effect, you can still summon a Cosmo monster whose level is lower than theirs um, from the deck in such a summoning. With the exception of two monsters, which I don't have, and that's Dark Planet and I believe it's Dark Planet and Dark Eclipser. They are just monsters you search. So that is the overall basic of the two Cosmo monsters. The other basic of Cosmo is that um, it's a combination between two very fun, like well, they're movie references, Wizard of Oz and Star Wars. Because if it, this is one of the ships, and Farm Girl, I believe, is Anakin and Dorothy. If that is what they were classified as, I'm not sure. You have to wiki search that, so I do remember if I think that is it off the top of my head. So with that said and done, I'm running through Farm Girl because she is the main attacker. She's the one that when she inflicts damage to your opponent, she can add a Cosmo monster from your deck to your hand, and then she can swap herself out for that monster. So this is one of the big things. This is actually one of the crucial monsters that a lot of people are going for. She's like $40. She's just as expensive as I can compare her to Madolce and Shelly, in the sense that they kind of had the same thing. They were the big anchors to their deck in the times in which their decks. When she came out, she is still one of the big anchors of her deck. But Angeli was caught in the need of where we wanted a level 4 fairy that was a Madolce monster and then could do a lot of the things that were capable of what they could do. And then when Farm Girl came out, she was everything Angeli was, just a lot better and had a lot more stats stacked to her. And that's why I give them the comparison. Because they had a lot of synergy with their decks and they do a lot of things for their deck and can benefit a lot from their decks. Stormtrooper is pretty much, you such summon was a Psychic type Cosmo monster? Yep, a Psychic type Cosmo monster from the graveyard and such summon to the field by paying 1,000 life points. Life points are not going to be a big thing or issue. I'll get to that when I get to Forerunner for the most part. And that is one of the bright sides of him is if I had Tin Can. Tin Can is a great way to help Stormtrooper because Tin Can can send monsters to the graveyard through his own effect, and then the ones that you don't pick up, Stormtrooper can pick up for you. And that's really accessible with stuff like Dark Lady, Farm Girl, Wicked Witch, and Good Witch, and even some of the other low-level monsters. Since we're talking about Wicked Witch, let's talk about her. She's the 19 beater of the deck. She has immunity to being destroyed by battle or card effect. In cases, that helps tremendously. You need to pay 1,000 life points to do such, but that's perfectly fine, and you can just swap her out for the bigger Cosmo monsters. Following that is to Strawman, and Strawman is really resourceful in combination with the Field Spell and in combination with a lot of the Cosmos effects, because he can such summon a Cosmo monster who's been banished. Their effects are negated, but during the end phase, you can destroy that monster that was summoned by Strawman's effect. And what's good about Strawman is you can get one of your big ships, preferably like Dark Destroyer or stuff like that, and then have it like blow up during the end phase and go get Forerunner. Forerunner can get Slit Rider and stuff like that. I'm running one Good Witch because I just wanted an additional light, but a low level light monster that at least has some stats to her. And then let's talk about the big ships. So all the ships are machine, if I didn't already state that. And one of my favorite things is, this is one of my favorite decks that had a large portion of its utility and just access to its utility. Forerunner is one of the big ones. During each year's standby phases, Forerunner will give you 1,000 life points, which is amazing. Because you're going to be paying a lot of life points with a lot of cards. But with Forerunner and Fruition, you can easily get back to a lot of those life points real fast. And the next thing is he can be targeted by card effects. It's more so the bigger ships, like the level 7s and higher, are the ones that say they can be targeted by card effects. Because there are low level machines. There's 3 level 5s, 2 level 6s. No, 2 level 6s, 2 level 5s. And those are the ones that just pretty much relegate non-destruction effects. I think Landwalker is the one that says it protects stuff from being destroyed, which is still a good benefit. But the thing is about Forerunner is that he has the stats in case to back himself up. Then with easy access to farm girl and stuff, you can just easily plot one of these on the field and your opponent really can't do much to it, because if they try to, you can just go get another monster to really just stand in his place. And that's what I do love about the Kozmo big monsters and the little monsters, how they can easily support each other on field and not on field. Then I'm running 3 Slip Rider. This is pretty much your MST to a point. The fact that when it's normal, a special summon. And then he can just pick up a low level Kozmo when he's destroyed. So not too bad of a monster there. And then the Dark Eclipser, being that one is not a problem. All this recycle we have. One of my favorite things about Dark Eclipser is it can pop itself and then go into another monster. Or you can pop a monster like Forerunner, go into Slip Rider, and Slip Rider can pop stuff. And this is honestly one of the big utility monsters. And it's part of the reason why it got hit so much was because of the fact that, itself in E-Telly was because of how easy access the deck has to getting into its bigger monsters like Dark Destroyer, Dark Eclipser, and especially Dark Planet. But Dark Planet was a little slow. I like something like Dark Eclipser or Dark Destroyer because they have the 3,000 stats on them, and not much can really get over them because they can't be targeted, and the only thing you'd have to do is destroy them, but there's ways around that as well. Kind of wish I was running limiter removal, because that would really help too. And then on the destruction, I can just go get other monsters. The Cyber Dragons are here to combat the new Cyber Dragon support. If you want particular things, I would also say pick up a lot of the Cyber Dragon stuff because they have link monsters, and then just try to fit in some Cyber Dragon mechanics, or just build pure Cyber Dragon and still have Cyber Dragon be a good counterbalance to a lot of that machine stuff. I do like Cyber Dragon because he's an easy floater, one of the easy summons, and then just tribute off, go get Slip Rider, or summon Farm Girl, have him knock over something, have the Farm Girl knock over some life, and then Farm Girl can trigger, and she can stand behind the Chimera attack. Just, I wouldn't leave this on the field because your opponent is probably playing if your opponent is playing Cyber Dragon, because then they can Chimera attack you. And also I would say pick up multiple Chimera attack Fortress Dragons if that's the case, with all the machine stuff. Then BLS and Chaos Sorcerer are just pretty much my balance to Chaos. Like, I wanted some Chaos monsters in here, so I just said plop it. I said, alright, well, I'll just go get 2 of the big ones. 2 of the most accessible ones, because I already had these. Emperor's Band and D-Mock doesn't work like he used to. So I just went for 2 of the most highly acclaimed ones that were part of Kozmo, when Kozmo was one of the biggest tier decks in the game. It's still one of my favorites, and did fall in that line of TCG exclusive stuff that worked really well, and then as it continued on, it grew and got a lot better and a lot more stable with a lot of its different support, and it just overall became its own deck. Yeah, it did get hit, but it was really splashable in certain things. Like, you could make True King, True Draco Kozmo, you can build Chaos Kozmo, you can just build Standard Kozmo, and then just further along the effects of the Kozmo monsters. And I did love the addition of a good Chaos deck that can stand up with Soldier and Sorcerer. Next, Kozmo Town is one of your biggest hits, because this is pretty much this is one of the best field spells. Like, in a list of the field spells, these are probably in the top because of the fact that it can retrieve Kozmo monsters from the banished area, and then you just pay 100 for that monster's level. Not to mention, you have all these monsters coming in and out anyway that are going to the banish. Like, you can abuse the banish with Kozmo Town. And that's part of the reason why Kozmo Towns, a lot of the Kozmo support did get hit, because of how abusable it is with Kozmo Town. Like Dark Destroyer, you can just go pick back up Dark Destroyer, have a low level monster on the field, and then just swap it in. Or then you can fill up your graveyard with Tin Can, have Tin Can do its thing, banish for like BLS and stuff. Then Kozmo Town can just add those monsters back, and then you can just swap out the Tin Can, or swap out the Farm Girl or whatever, and then retrieve all these monsters, or just replenish your hand with newer cards by sending your Kozmo stuff back. Like, it has a lot of versatility with itself in its archetype. Oh, and then you can go get copies of yourself if it's destroyed by card effects. So, yeah, crazy thing, right? We all know what terraforming does. Scapegoat, I added primarily just because I wanted to have the link mechanic and keep the stuff up to date. Ghost Art, a lot of people probably question, but you know, in combination with Cosmo Town, this is a really good card. You can easily flesh out a lot of your one-ups, like Darkhold and Raigeki. You can also be a douche and run Necroface and really piss your opponent off. Or you can combat your opponent with their card of desires. Because I don't want to run pot of desires. I didn't feel the need to run desires or go get them. Because this is just one of those decks I feel didn't need that. Because you have so much of your own utility, but the monsters need to be face up. So that's part of the reason why I said I didn't want to run Desire. I wanted to run Sarcophaguses instead. E-Telly is one of the most psychic cards in the game. Visualize at 1 again because Cosmo abuses the crap out of E-Telly. Like E-Telly Farm Girl. E-Telly into first turn, E-Telly go into a tin can, set for defense, in phase tin can, send the stuff to the graveyard, retrieve the card, banish tin can, summon the monster, and tin can gets over the E-Telly. Yeah. That's one of like its deadliest plays is how accessible those monsters are. Not to mention, there are level 3 or lower psychic tuners. And this does not restrict attribute, just type. So, yeah. And then, of course, the standards of Raigeki, Darkhold, Monster Reborn being some staples. And I threw in the Storming Force just because I have tribute monsters. And if I need to get over problematic monsters, I can just tribute them instead. No traps, because the only trap I probably run in here would be Kozmo Joe. But I don't have access to Kozmo Joe, so that's why they're not here. So, like I said, a lot of fill-in cards here and there for that most part. My Link lineup is just simply because at the time of recording, Hit Potion again and Weave Witch's Apprentice, whichever one the TCG is calling them. I just didn't have, I'm not going to get them till later on, but like I said, I will be making a revised version of this deck with the revised cards, you know, like Dark Ladies and Tin Cans and Cosmo Joe, and possibly a Lower Darknesses, because that helps too. Those are really good cards with this deck. But I wanted to have my Link engine. That's pretty much what it is. Just something basic, something standard. Because Cosmo, for the most part, didn't go into his extra deck unless it had to deal with pretty much his biggest enemy, and that was Mirror Match and having to run into Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, who I'll talk about right now. Like, if you don't have multiple Chimera Tech Fortress Dragons, I know there's like a whole bunch of Chimera Tech. I know there's a whole bunch of new Cyber Dragon support stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets reprinted again to be like a common or something, or like an OTS or anything. And then on top of that, I mean, it's Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. So these shouldn't be too hard to come against. But this is pretty much what you would do to combat a lot of machine decks. Summon the Cyber Dragon, send all the machines to the graveyard, send the Cyber Dragon, this thing gains attack for all those monsters. I have 2 of these. I'm just using one currently right now. If I had the other one, I'd be running. If I could, yeah, I'd probably run 2 of these. And probably drop like another Link monster. Probably drop one of these extra deck, like Exceed monsters. But that's only because of the fact that like Chimera, like I don't really go into extra deck that much. Unless I'm using like specific things. And by those specific things, I mean like if I need to actually go into the extra deck for the support. Link, well, Exceed monsters, they're here. There's a lot of them. Leviair is here because I can retrieve and such as something from the Banish Zone. The good stand-up ovations for, on the screen, there we go, for Tornado Dragon Castell, just being good one-ups and very offensive and defensive. Cowboy and Red Eyes are here for burn and to deal out with the last-ditch efforts of Stall. In the time issue, Babushka is here to be Babushka, and in case I need massive amount of tokens to do a token summon, that's why I'm rocking the Galaxy Tomahawk. Some other options you can put in here are Big Eye and Grand Pole, so you can put in a lot of the new Link stuff and just go crazy. So that's pretty much it. I didn't want to go too long with this video. I do hope you guys enjoy. If you have questions and stuff, you can always leave it in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and possibly have a new version of this in the future. So thank you all for watching, and HGJ signing out. Take care.